Coach Turgeon alongside. Right off the bat, you got the new numbers out today. It doesn't mean a darn thing to the coach, but I got to tell you anyhow. It's number 2 in the AP, in both the AP and the coaches poll for Maryland, right behind Villanova. So the Terrapins moving up 2 spots in the rankings. They've got 21 wins on the season. Yeah. And they're having a heck of a year. They won 4 in a row in 6 of their last 7 games, and yesterday another tough one. You played Thursday at Iowa, Sunday at Ohio State, Wednesday at Nebraska, Saturday with Purdue, and then you come back again tomorrow. You'll have 5 games in 13 days.
Yeah.
Tough part of the season.
It is tough, and, the competition during that stretch made it even tougher.
Yeah.
So we played really good teams. I was proud of our team Saturday. I was worried about our energy level, where we were going to be mentally. I thought we could have been really mentally tired, just with all the scout reports and close games and travel. And I just think our guys handled it well. We do what we do. We grinded it out and figured out a way to win. But it's been a tough stretch, Johnny. But I was really proud of our guys to win those 4 games. And to be honest with you, I was kind of glad we came out number 2 in the polls today. It's amazing the difference between 1 and 2, but how much pressure it takes off our guys. We're used to being ranked high, but we've never been 1, so that would have been a different animal. But, hopefully down the road we can get to that spot.
And, Coach, what was impressive about the game Saturday against Purdue is as big a team, as physical a team as they were, and you handled it extremely well. You win by 11 points.
Yeah, well, there was a couple of things. One, our post defense had to be very good.
And
it was the best that we've played post defense all year. We let them in for a few layups. They're so big, and then our rebounding had to be excellent, and it was. We ended up tied on the boards with them. They had a few more offensive rebounds in the second half. First half they had 2. They had 6 right out of the gate in the second half. Then we were much better down the stretch. Our guards rebounded. Rashid had 10 rebounds for us. Mello came back, got some rebounds. Our big guys were good. So we had to do that. I thought our execution was great the whole game. We just didn't make shots. And they're big. We practice against big every day because we're big, but they had a little bit extra length in there. But it's all about execution. That's what you want as a coach, and we're doing that at a high level.
And knowing how much you love defense and your teams play defense, and that wins ball games, the last 4 games, the 4 opponents, Iowa, Ohio State, Nebraska, Purdue, none of those guys got out of the 60s. And Purdue was averaging, I think, 76 a game, something like that.
Yeah, and I
get 61.
I was at a high level.
Sure.
So, yeah, we're doing some nice things defensively, and we continue to get better. Guys are buying into it. When the game was on the line, we were terrific. When the crowd got into the crowd was once again terrific on Saturday. We couldn't have done it without them. But when the crowd really got into it, late in the game, we got our defense going, we got our rebounding going. It was a lot of fun.
How about the free throws?
Yeah,
second half, 22-23?
Yeah.
Wow.
We have a lot of really good shooters. The right guys got fouled. We went to Nebraska and didn't make free throws, and it kept the game close. We missed, I think, 3 front-end and one-on-ones. We missed 10 in the game, and that game stayed closer than it probably should have been down the stretch if we could have made a few more free throws. But it is what it is. We've played, 24 games. I think in 22 of them we've shot a really high percentage free throw line. So most of the time we're going to make them, and we practice. And we practice them a lot between Nebraska and Purdue, and it showed. And that was the difference. Our ability to get to the line was the difference in that game.
Coach, we've talked so many times about on any given night, it could be Suleiman, it could be Mello, it could be Diamond, it could be Layman, it could be Carter, it could be Nickens off the bench. Any of those guys are capable of leading you in scoring. We saw again Saturday Rashid Suleiman, his first career double-double in college, 21 and 10, and some clutch shots down the stretch.
Yeah, he played well. He's making his free throws now, which is good to see. He was getting to the rim. We were executing at a high level, and the rebounding was great to see. Early in the year he wasn't boxing anybody out. Now he's boxing out, plus he's rebounding. He's chasing balls down. So, I kept saying we were a work in progress. We were a work in progress. There's fewer things we're doing wrong now than we were a month ago. We're still,
right.
Our decision making has to get better and things like that. But we're doing a lot of things better, which, it's that time of year where you should be getting to that point. So But that's one thing Rasheed had to work on, and that was great to see. Our guards should help us rebound. And when you have tall guards like we have, they should definitely help you.
And the tough thing for him coming to a school like Maryland after being down south for 3 years is you're adjusting to new teammates, and it takes some time to get used to everybody and familiar with your teammates.
Yeah, and he had 3 new starters.
Yeah, right.
In the lineup.
Stone and Carter.
So it's part of it, and they're all getting used to each other, and it's coming together. It's fun to see. I wish we'd make a few more shots. I think the fans would like that. I think the players would like it. But we're not making them right now. But the good thing is we're winning, and hopefully at the right time, everybody gets comfortable. We get our legs back underneath us, and we shoot a higher percentage. We're still 49% for the year. We did shoot 50% at Nebraska.
Right.
Against Iowa, I think we were at 52%. So we're making enough shots. But what we did on Saturday was we figured out how to win. That was getting to the foul line and getting to the rim, and that was the difference. In
that game, the Terrapins went 24 of 27 at the line on Saturday, 22 of 23 in the second half. I'd be remiss if I didn't have you talk a little bit about the game that Robert Carter had. Had the only 3-pointers, went 4 of 6. That's the only 4 you hit all afternoon long. But 7 of 10 from the floor, 19 points, and 7 rebounds.
Yeah, he was terrific, and I thought his defense was really good too. But, with Melo coming off ball screens, you got to make a choice. You're going to guard Robert, you're going to guard Melo.
Right.
And right now, everybody doubles Melo, makes him give it up. So Robert took advantage of it, made some shots, which was great to see. Robert's a great shooter that hadn't shot the ball well until really the last 3 weeks. And so it's encouraging. It's great for our offense, helps our offense spread the floor a little bit. I thought his 3 in the corner when we were down 4 was really – you take a deep breath and okay, we're going to be all right. Cut to 1, and then we really took over the game after that. But that was the last – he hit the 3, cut it to 1. Then we shot layups and free throws. Except for Melo's 3 with about a minute and a half to go, we executed at just a really high level. The guys do it. And, we just got to be more – we just got to sustain things a little bit more so we can build leads. And, we had an 18-10 lead, and we just did a lot of really dumb things. And I'll take the blame for it. I had us ready for the big lineup. It was an exhausting week and tough to get everything in. And we had really a 45-minute hour practice the day before we played Purdue. And we weren't ready for the small lineup. And they went small, and I had a lineup in there that wasn't conducive to that. And we made a couple of mistakes, got them confident, and all of a sudden we're down 20-18. So second half we guarded their small lineup a little bit better. We adjusted quicker to it. But I took the blame in the locker room, for that. Told the guys, hey, wasn't this guy's fault, it was my fault, and I got to do a better job, but it should help us the next time we play him.
When you grab a hold of this score sheet at the end of a game, is one of the first things you look at the turnovers? Because this game Saturday, you had the fewest, or they had the fewest of any game this year, 8.
Yeah, and I think, and I could be wrong here, but 3 of the last 4 games we've had 8, 9, 10. Then we had 18 at Nebraska, but we had 5 in the second half when the game counted when we had to take care of it. So we're getting better. Our decision-making is getting better. Our understanding of where guys are supposed to be in our offense is getting better. So it's slowly all coming together. And as long as the guys are dialed in and concentrating, we should take care of the ball like that every night.
And when you look at the record now, 21-3 in the Big Ten, 10-2, 6-0 at home in the conference, 13-0 at home overall. And the one thing I know in the minds of everybody in this basketball team, it's not over yet. Let's just don't sit on our laurels here with 21.
Yeah. And
the focus is so good of late.
It is good. And, the thing I talked to the team about today is our chemistry is good, but it's something we're going to really try to build over the last 4 weeks of the regular season and the postseason, just where we get so tight, nothing can come between us. And, it's more about building your team than it is about X's and O's and keeping them fresh and keeping them confident and just being such an unbreakable bond. That's really what we want to work on, over the next 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks.
And the bench will be important going down the stretch.
Yeah, no doubt. And we need our bench to play better. I need to play them more. Some games it's more conducive for the bench to play. Some games it's not. We didn't play the bench as much the other day as we did at Nebraska. At Nebraska, our bench was terrific and helped us win that game.
I think Diamond played a good game considering the fact they wore him down pretty good. They worked on him. And he worked on them, too.
Yeah, he played a smart game. He let him in for a couple layups, had a couple fouls, but he had a couple steals post defensively too. And post defense, there's a lot that comes into it. One is ball pressure, and our ball pressure was great. We had some deflections when they were trying to feed the post. It's footwork of our post guys working. We play with our feet. And then help side defense is big. So there's three things that come into being a great post defensive team, and we were able to do, for the most part, most possession, all three of those things.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with more of the Maryland's head basketball coach, Mark Turgeon, for Buffalo Wild Wings in College Park, right after these messages.
Maryland Sport.
Live from Buffalo Wild Wings in College Park, here's Mark Turgeon and Johnny Holiday.
Our recap of the Terrapins' win over Purdue is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Terrapins at 21-3 against Bowie State. That'll be on this coming tomorrow night, beginning at 6 o'clock. It was scheduled originally for a later date, but keep in mind that's been moved up. The tip-off is set for 6 o'clock. Iowa leads the Big Ten with a 10-1 conference record. That's their best start in Big Ten play since 81-82. The Terrapins in second place at 10-2. Indiana at 9-2 in third place. Parity in college basketball is unbelievable this year.
It really is. For us to go in 2 weeks from number 8 to number 2, you just couldn't do that. I mean, it shows you how many teams are losing in the parity. And then what I saw today, which I normally don't look, but I think Carolina's either 7th or 8th or 9th, somewhere in there, but they got one first-place vote. I mean, so never an 8th-place team would get one first-place vote.
Right.
So it just shows you that it's all over the map. There's probably 10 to 12 teams that could be, number one in the country are right there. And then there's probably another 30 teams, 30 total, 35 that can win a national championship out there, just because matchups and all that kind of. There's a lot of really talented teams. You saw it with Purdue, and they're ranked 20-something.
Right, exactly.
Just how good they are and how talented they are. So it is what it is. It's college basketball this year. It should be so much fun for the fans. The parity, and just I think it's great for college basketball.
And I think it's also the 7th or 8th time there's been a new number one team atop that poll all season long.
It's been a lot. There's been more top 5 losses in the history since they started doing the poll, and there's going to be more top 5 losses, obviously, as we move forward, because league play in February just gets even tougher and tougher. And so it is what it is. Anybody that says it's not good, they don't know what they're talking about. I think it's great. It's better than having the same 1 or 2 teams every year just dominating. Just to have so many people that have a chance, so many fan bases that have a chance is real exciting.
And in the Big Ten, only 2 teams have won 20 games. Maryland's won 21. Michigan State also with a 20-win season so far. Indiana, Iowa, Purdue have got 19 wins.
Wow,
that's and then
amazing.
There's Illinois. All these others are still coming up from the rear.
Yeah, I think we have 6 teams that are solidly in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Michigan is the only one you didn't mention there. They had a couple tough home losses, but they played really good teams. So except against us, hopefully they'll win a few games. But should get 16. We got 21, 20, 19, 19 for 4 teams. At this time of year, 3 teams with Purdue. That's pretty amazing this time of year.
Coach, do you adjust anything as far as practice-wise and trying to get the legs, make sure the legs stay fresh, the players stay fresh, as you roll down to the final 5, 6, 7 games of the year?
Well, it's hard. It's a chess match for me. I have 4 guys that are playing a ton of minutes now, and Diamond's minutes the last 2 games have gone way up. And so I have to keep them fresh. But then like DeMonte, Jared, Varun, Checo, Jalen, they need more practice time. So today we scrimmaged. We got up and down. Halfway through the scrimmage, I set the starters out and let the other 10 guys get up and down. They needed it. And they were hurting. They were tired, but they needed it. And then hopefully tomorrow they'll get a little more playing time too, which will help. But just trying to find that, I haven't practiced Melo as much. He's playing a ton of minutes. Try to get Jake as much big blow as he can. He's got a lot of miles on him, being a 4th-year guy. But it's just a chess match, and you just kind of ask him how you're feeling and just kind of go with your gut.
Coach Mark Turgeon alongside Johnny Holiday here. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings in College Park. We'll take a break and come back We'll go down to Virginia Beach. We'll talk to former Maryland head coach Lefty Driesell when we come back on the Mark Turgeon Radio Show.
And Johnny Holiday.
And we are delighted to have with us on the telephone tonight the former Maryland head basketball coach who really kind of put this school on the map when he was here back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And I talk about all you have to do is say Lefty. That's it. And people know exactly who you're talking about. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I had a great weekend last weekend. That was more fun I've had in a long time.
Lefty,
that's the first practices I've seen this year, and I got to meet the team and the coaching staff and everybody. It was great. And then they said they were going to introduce me to the fans, right? I said, look, these fans don't know me. Maybe their grandfathers will. But they did. They gave me a great ovation, and I almost came to tears.
I saw that. You almost, Coach. I was looking at you. But that's how much people love you back here.
Well, thank you. I love Maryland, too. And I think Mark Turgeon, I'm really happy he's at Maryland. In fact, Mark will tell you this. I told him when he got the job, I said, Mark, you probably don't know it, but you got one of the best jobs in the country.
Yeah.
Because I said, look, if you go to North Carolina, Duke, they're going to write you up in the Durham Morning Herald, which nobody reads. I said, if you're going to basketball player and you come to Maryland, they're going to read about you in the Washington Post, which is the second largest newspaper in the world, and the Baltimore paper, and this and that. So, hey, did I not tell you that, Mark?
You told me that, Lefty. And I tell you what, he had a lot of tricks. Lefty had a lot of tricks in recruiting that we've tried to use, and taking kids into D.C., what an advantage that is, and walking by the White House and going to have dinner. And it's been great. So, but no, he's right. Lefty was right. And I knew once we got over the hump, if we could just get over the hump, we could really get this thing going. And Lefty, you know this, and I've told you this. One of the main reasons I took the job is because of the job that you did and the job that Gary did. You guys proved that you can do it at a high level, and it is a great job, and it's a lot of fun. And as you saw, that building can get really loud. Everybody brags about Cole Fieldhouse. I never was in it. But what a great environment for us on Saturday.
I know. In fact, I can't remember the guy that announces that played for Bobby Knight. What is his name?
Dockage.
Doc, yeah. Doc. I don't agree with everything he says, but he always says, I've heard him say it 2 or 3 times, the best fans in the Big Ten are at Maryland. And, man, I love it when he says that. And he was right. I mean, he is right.
Yeah, it helped us win.
I mentioned to Coach about 348 wins he had at Maryland, and his answer was, I didn't win any games. I had the players win the games for it. You had some players, too, didn't you, Coach?
I had some great players, and great young men, and I enjoyed it. But I'm going to tell you what, Mark's got a great team right now. I told him, I said, you guys can win a national championship, and I wouldn't tell you that if I was a liar. I said, I don't lie. And I love them. I think they're really good, and Mark does a great job. I haven't seen a practice since I've been to a lot of Duke's practices, but Mark does a great job. He had them well prepared, and he really spent a lot of time with his big men down there working, defending their big men and being physical, and I thought they did a great job on that. And, of course, those 3 guys, Rashid was like he was possessed. I bet Mike Krzyzewski's kicking himself in the butt.
Yeah, he's a good defender, isn't he, Coach?
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, he takes that ball through the hole. It reminds me of LeBron James when he's coming down the court. He's going to go through the hole. It doesn't matter who gets in front of him.
Yeah, he had a spectacular game.
Yeah, he
no
did.
doubt.
And Carter, I like Carter, too, because he reminds me a little bit of Len Bias because he can post you up or shoot outside or, and then, Melo. You got some guys with great names, Diamond Stone, Melo.
Yeah. Great names.
Great names, and they're great kids. I got to meet them. See, I met Jake, and he's about the only one because I didn't come up there last year.
Yeah.
I'm 84 years old. I shouldn't have come last week, and my wife kept telling me, you're too old to go to a game. I said, well, I'm going to this game because I haven't met half of the guys, and they're super young men, and they're good, really good basketball players.
Coach, when you look at all the things that you accomplished here at the University of Maryland, I was looking back, would that 71 72 team be one that really stands out? I know you don't like to isolate any teams or any players, but you went 27-5 that year. You won the NIT as well.
Yeah, I know. You know, the NIT, people don't give much emphasis to the NIT right now, but see, back then only 24 teams got into NCAA, and a lot of weak teams, you know, if you won a championship in a weak league, you got to go to NCAA. So the NIT that year was a lot of great teams in there. It might have been better than the NCAA. This was way before Mark was born. But, you know, way back when I was at Davidson, you had a choice. You had to make a choice before the season was over if you wanted to be in the NIT or the NCAA. And I know one year Al McGuire, Marquette, he said, I want to be in the NIT because he's played in New York. So that was a pretty good team. Yeah, we had some other good teams, too.
You know, the thing I like about Lefty's former players is, one, like Lefty said, he had some great guys that have gone on to do some amazing things in this world. And they love Maryland. They love playing for Lefty. And they've all been so respectful of me when I've taken this job. And that just kind of shows you that he did a good job while he had him. He recruited great kids. And Gary did the same. Our former players, it's just been so fun to get to know them. But as we all know, Lefty really did a great job recruiting and getting us on the map.
And, Coach, some of the guys he played for him, Tom McMillan, Lynn Elmore, John Lucas, Buck Williams, they've all been back to Maryland to visit, to see you guys play.
I know. A lot of them, they love Maryland. I know that. You know, and I encourage them to come back every time I talk to them or see them.
Yeah, they've been
In fact,
great.
I was supposed to come up there last weekend because of the snow to be and see John Lucas, and John calls me all the time. In fact, I was riding back with John Reimer, and he got Lucas on the phone, and we talked for a while. And he's got some stories he tells on me that he likes to tell, you know.
He got great stories. I can't understand him on the phone that well.
I know. But one time, he always likes to tell us when it is true. Did you ever play against the Four Corners much, Mark?
No.
Well, see, Dean and Phil Ford were great at that. So I did everything. I said we'd play him a zone, you know. But when Dean would get ahead by about 8 or 10 points, it didn't matter if there's 12 minutes left in the game or 15. He'd go to that. So we were practicing one day. I said, look, I tell you what we're going to do. When he holds it this time, we're going to drop back. Just drop off of him, let him hold it, and then we're going to come out in a 1-3-1 trap. So when we get ready to do it, I said, Luke, you just holler, gather. You know, and we'll come back, and then when you say go, we'll go out and get him. So I said, okay, Luke, let's go. So Luke said, gather, fellas. I said, Luke, gather your stuff up and get your butt in the locker room. He tells that story all the time, and it's true.
Oh, man.
Gather, fellas.
Yeah, one thing Lynn Elmore talked about Saturday, Coach, we had a little conversation with Lynn Elmore, myself, and Coach Drizel, and he mentioned that it's long overdue. You're in the College Basketball Hall of Fame. You should be in the Naismith, in the Basketball Hall of Fame up in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Absolutely.
And there's no question about that. You should get in, and it's a crying shame if they keep waiting to put you in there. And that's how much you've done for I mean, you started the Midnight Madness thing. You won the ACC Tournament Championship. You're coaching. I mean, what else do you have to do?
Well, you know, the only thing that my contention is I got more wins than most of the coaches in there.
Correct.
All the ones up this year, I got more wins than they have. And I got more wins than a whole bunch, the last 5 college coaches that got in. And I thought that's what coaching was about, wins, right?
Right.
And I've never been on probation or never violated any rules. So I don't know. One of these days, if I get they waited till Guy Lewis was about dead. Tarkanian was about dead before they got in. So
You know what, Lefty? You know what I heard? They said there's a 10-minute speech limit, and they said you couldn't hold that. So that's why I haven't let you in.
Well, I might not be able to. I don't know.
Well, Coach, it was great to see you Saturday. The fans loved it when you got introduced, and it's so good to have you with Coach and I tonight.
Where are we ranked this week?
Number 2.
Doesn't matter, Coach. Doesn't matter.
I know it does matter because you earned it. It's
Yeah,
February.
yeah, that's true, and it helps recruiting, as you know.
Yeah, but you deserve it. I love those kids. I mean, I was going to write them all a note or something. Wish them luck, and you know I'm pulling for you.
Yeah, I know, Coach. I appreciate it.
Coach, thank you.
Tell Joyce said hello.
Okay, you do the same to your family.
Okay.
Thank you, Lefty. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. The great Lefty Drizel, and we will take a break. When we come back, we'll visit with Jake Layman on the Mark Turgeon Radio Show after these messages.
Now, once again, live from Buffalo Wild Wings in College Park, here's Mark Turgeon and Johnny Holiday.
And our special guest tonight is Jake Layman, all brought to you by Capital One Bank, and that's the official bank of Maryland Athletics. Coach, the guy sitting next to you, I have watched all 4 years. You had him for 4 years here at Maryland, and what a progression up the ladder he showed you.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's nice to have kids for 4 years, especially ones as talented as Jake. And you know, I think about his first year and defensively how hard it was for him, and he struggled and the concepts of it. But he was a good player for us. He could, he made shots. He was a threat, and had a terrific year for us. You think about the NIT his freshman year. We're at Alabama, and he makes 2 big threes late in the game as a freshman. We put him at the 4 spot. And so he's been doing it a long time. He's scored over 1,000 points. I don't know how many rebounds he's had, but he's going to be – there's not going to be many players that have done more or won more than Jake when he graduates from here. I'm just really proud of him. He's having an unbelievable year this year. He's become a complete basketball player. We're so balanced. Some nights he doesn't need to score as much as he would probably like, or he probably can. But defensively, rebounding, his understanding, his awareness, he's got such a great feel for our offense now too. It's just great to see, and I'm just really proud of Jake.
Yeah, Jake, you're one of 5 guys averaging in double figures, which, as we were talking earlier to Coach, any given night, any of you guys can go off and get 20, 25, whatever is needed.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like every game we play, it's someone different tonight. Whether it's me, Mello, Rob, Diamond, Rasheed, Jerry. We have so many threats offensively. That's why I think teams have trouble guarding us.
What's been the big difference from your own perspective, looking at yourself, the big difference in you now as you came in as a freshman, sophomore, junior this year? Hard work?
Oh, yeah. A lot of hard work, getting shots up in the gym, working with Kyle, getting my weight up, working on foot speed stuff for defense. Just trying to work on my all-around game. It's kind of all coming together this year.
Yeah, and I had Jake and I met today. I like to meet individually with guys, and, you think about all the things that he does. He defends and he rebounds. He can guard a big guy. He can guard a little guy. He can shoot threes. He can post up. He can get all the way to the rim. And he's become a very efficient post feeder and passer for us. I mean, that's a lot of basketball game. And, his mid-range game, it's still developing. It's going to be a part of his future when he doesn't have to go to school anymore and he's just playing basketball. But he's got a pretty complete game, and that's why he's having the year he's having. He's having the career he's had, and he'll have a career after college too, and play basketball for a long time because of it.
You can also finish on the alley-oop as you did a couple of games ago, huh? Yeah. They made a few highlight reels, didn't it?
Trying to.
Yeah, you always got to be aware of passing though on this team, don't you? Melo's going to hit you, Suleiman's going to hit you. You got to always be ready to get that ball.
Yeah, Melo and Rasheed have done a great job this year of being able to find shooters. I'm really proud of Melo especially. Didn't come in as the best passer, but he's come a long way with that.
83% at the line for Jake this year. 4 for 4 against Purdue. You've hit 21 of your last 24 free throws. This is the best year you've had at the line, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just working with all the coaches on my jump shot, I think it just helped me improve my free throws all around.
And the reason these guys are having a good year, like we took yesterday off, and I told the guys, I said, I don't want you near basketball, thinking about basketball, just enjoy the day off. Of course, a couple of them asked me if they could play 2K NBA basketball, and we approved that, so they did that. But 4 of the 5 starters were in the gym early today before practice shooting. Jake's one of them. Jake always gets probably 20 minutes of shots up, free throws, post moves, all kinds of different free throws, everything he needs to do before every practice. There's a reason you're good, because you practice at it. But the thing I'm most proud of Jake, and Jake, you can brag about it, is Jake's 7 hours away from graduation. So Right, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. It's an unbelievable story. And, just talk about how hard you had to work this summer to put yourself in this position academically.
Yeah, I mean, school doesn't come easy to everybody. I'm definitely one of those kids. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of extra study hall hours to be able to make the grades, to be where I'm at now. And it just I see the light now.
Spent a lot of time with Natasha.
Oh yeah,
a lot of tutors.
Exactly.
And that's one thing. Jake didn't like to get out of bed when he was a freshman either. So he now gets up, goes to study hall. He gets up and works out before in the mornings. I mean, just a totally different guy. And that's, as a coach, you get in it because you want to coach basketball, but in the end, you're coaching young men and making them men. And that's, Jake's. Well, I've been really proud of a lot of players, but Jake's really come a long ways in a lot of areas. He's going to make it. He's going to make it in life and be very successful.
Jake, I've asked the guys over the years when it's their senior year, what will they miss most about Maryland? Almost every guy that graduates and goes on to whatever says it's the camaraderie, the teammates, the coaching staff that they will never forget.
Oh yeah, I mean that's definitely the main thing. Just summer workouts with Kyle. The grind that we go through as players. It's not easy in the summer. It's a lot of hours, waking up early. And that's what it's all worth.
You guys got a 4-game winning streak going for you right now. You got Bowie State tomorrow night. That is a 6 o'clock start, incidentally. 6 o'clock at Xfinity Center. And hopefully an opportunity to get some of the guys coming off the bench to get some minutes tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're trying to get everybody in there, to get minutes and get experience. So.
And no disrespect for Bowie State because they got some players.
Yeah, no, they're a good team. We're going to play it like it's any other game.
Yeah, guys were dialed in today. We had a really good practice, so we're a mature group. We know where we are. We know what we have to do, and you only get so many opportunities to play basketball. Jake's games at Maryland are getting numbered, so he'll be excited and ready to go tomorrow night.
Jake, what would you like to have the Maryland fans, if they had to put together one sentence to say, I remember Jake Layman for what?
I would say for his loyalty to the program. I care a lot about Maryland basketball, and just to be able to see where the program has gone from my freshman year to where it is now. That's what it's all about.
That's all about.
That's why you play basketball.
We'll go take a break. We'll come back with more with Jake and Coach Turgeon in just a minute on the Terrapin Sports Radio Network.
Now, once again, live from Buffalo Wild Wings in College Park, here's Mark Turgeon and Johnny Holiday.
And welcome back, everybody. Happy to have you with us. Keep in mind, 6 o'clock tip-off tomorrow night, the Terrapins against Bowie State. Jake, of all the games you've played here at the University of Maryland, you played a whole bunch of them in 4 years. You've had 11 double-figure games this year. You've had 66 in your career. Was that Purdue game one of the toughest games physically to be involved in?
Yeah, I mean they're one of the biggest teams I ever played against. They a lot of size. They play hard, crash the boards every time. I think it was tougher for our big guys than it was for me. But yeah, I mean definitely one of the hardest games.
Which do you take more pride in? Scoring, rebounding, free throw shooting, assist, or cutting down on turnovers?
I mean, all of them, but I mean, I would say rebounding is probably one of the biggest things. It just shows how much I've transformed my body over the years and how much bigger I've gotten. And
he's had 30, Coach, the last 4 games, total of 30 rebounds.
Yeah, I think he's second in the team in rebounding behind Robert.
Right.
And, it's nice. And he's, Jake's, God gave him, he's 6'8", long. And he might say 6'9". But, he should be a great rebounder. And he's fast. I think speed rebounds, and he's got all that length and speed, which helps him be a great rebounder.
And I'm not shy, Coach, in saying he's been one of my favorite players all 4 years.
Yeah,
Good guy.
Mine too.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Jake,
that,
thank
Johnny.
you very much. We really appreciate you coming by tonight.
Thanks, Jake.
Jake
Thank
Layman,
you.
everybody, one of the Maryland seniors. We'll be on the floor tomorrow night against the Bowie State Bulldogs. We got let's take a break, then we'll get an email question for Coach, and we'll talk about Bowie State when we come back in a moment on the Mark Turgeon Radio Show.
Now, once again, live from Buffalo Wild Wings in College Park, here's Mark Turgeon and Johnny Holiday.
And the Miller Coors Call Art Fact Series history brought to you by Coors Brewing Company. Remember, 21 means 21. Tomorrow night, the first regular season matchup between the Terrapins and the Bulldogs. Time to check an email for Coach Turgeon. You can go to umterps.com, click on the Ask Coach Turgeon button, Brought to you by the University of Maryland Medical Center. One from Pat McKendall's in Ellicott City, Maryland. The red out was great, Coach. I don't ever remember Maryland wearing red at home. Usually the home team wears white or a light color. Did you have to get approval to wear red as the home team?
Yeah, well, you just work it out with the opposing team. And, I know we've had the yellow gold rush game, so, we make sure that we just work with the other team and don't wear the same uniform.
All right, you've got an email question for Coach Turgeon. Go to umterps.com. Click on the Ask Coach Turgeon button. All brought to you by the University of Maryland Medical Center. Coach, best of luck tomorrow night to get win number 22 against Bowie State.
Thanks, Johnny.
And thanks to Jake Layman for coming by tonight to be our special guest. And as always, it's terrific to have Lefty Drizel on the phone with us down there in Virginia Beach. He really dazzled them when he was here at Xfinity Center over the weekend. Keep in mind, tomorrow night the tip-off is set for 6 o'clock. You can join yours truly along with Chris Nockey and the Wizard Walt Williams for the game tomorrow night. Up in Turtle Network Control in Baltimore has been Tish Wright tonight. Tom Marquito's been alongside. For Coach Turgeon and for Tom and for Jake Layman and Lefty Drizel, also want to thank Leo Turgeon, Jake Layman's personal bodyguard, for being with us tonight. Good night.
The Mark Turgeon Radio Show has been brought to you by